Hello fishing friends, this is Matthew with Outfishing 13 bringing you another reel service video. Today we're going to work on this little micro Omega 113 by Zebco. It's a little spin cast reel. I bought it used and I haven't had a chance to service it yet. So this is approximately made in the late 1970s. Alright, let's get started. We begin by taking off the front nose cone. This has a little screw here that locks the cap on. You just need to loosen it up a little bit. It was already loose. This one has a spinner cone that's held on by a little nut there. We'll use a screwdriver to take that off. Okay, and take that off. It's in good shape, it just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. You take off the spool, and to do that we just need to take off this little E-clip here, or retainer clip. Use a screwdriver and put it in there and apply a little bit of sideways pressure. It comes right off. One of the things, I always forget to do this, but you want to make sure the drag is all the way loose, and that helps taking this off easier. Okay, we're ready to take this off. Okay, we can't take off this drag. Okay, we can take the handle off now. Okay, now we can take the back off. Try a little turn, take that off. Okay. Okay, now we can take this right here. Pay attention to this little piece right here. That right there is the anti-reverse pawl. Or it's what activates the anti-reverse. Make sure that little anti-reverse piece goes in that little slot right there. And you can't take the rest of this apart, so there's no need to even try to take that apart. All we can do is lubricate it a little bit. Okay? But we can take this gear out and make sure it's all clean and lubricated. So let's do that next. So using a small screwdriver, let's undo these screws right here. We need to take off. This just slides out of there. And there's that system right there. And I don't see any other washers or anything on there. Just slides on there like that, but it's kind of goopy, so we need to take and clean it all up. Okay, and that's it. There's nothing else on here that you can really take apart. I mean, you could take off this little screw here that locks the caps in place. So all we're going to do is we're just going to take and wipe this down really well and clean it up, get all the grease and stuff out of it that we can. Okay, I have all my parts cleaned up. There's a couple of things I'm not going to be able to fix in this video, but one is the fuzz that goes around this spool. One side had a little bit of fuzz left and the other side has been completely worn off. Basically that fuzz is to help prevent line from slipping up and going over the spool and fouling up your reel up underneath there or behind it up against there like that. So that's something I'm not going to really be able to fix. The fuzz that was on there is just falling apart and no good. I was thinking maybe I could get some little piece of yarn or something like that and put it on there, but I'll have to do that later. The other thing is that this spinner cone used to have a line break on it that was glued to the front or riveted to the front, and it has since just completely fallen apart. So what I'll do to fix that up is to glue a rubber O-ring on it that will fit in there to apply pressure up against there. It will still work, but the pressure is applied on the corners here, and it'll still work though. So we'll just have to try it out. But we're ready to put it back together, so let's start putting it back together in reverse order. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get this gear system put back together. So I just want to take and apply a little bit of oil to the shaft here. And put it back in this little bearing. It goes like this in there. Okay. And we have these two little screws. We'll hold it in place. And snug them down. Okay. Those are in place. The next thing I want to do now is go ahead and grease that. I'm going to grease it with some pen reel grease. It's a blue color and it's really popular and it works really well. And we don't need very much. You just need to get that grease right on the teeth and just a thin coat, because what flips off will never get back on there again. It's down in there. Okay, that's good. Now when I put this together, it'll automatically grease this right there. So I'm not going to grease this up right here. I'm just going to put this in here. I'm going to put some oil on here, and then I'm going to put it in here, making sure that that little nub right there fits into the anti-reverse actuator. So let's put some oil on here. And we're going to put a little bit of oil right here because this slides up and down. Okay. So let's get that in there. Right in that little. Okay, there it is. Okay, we want to oil up the little hinge pins and hinges down in here. You know, where we can. Okay. All right, we're ready. We're going to put the back on. Back cover. I'm going to put a little bit of grease right here. Just a little tiny bit. That's enough. We'll put this on. That goes on much better. It had a lot of crud built up on the inside there and on the outside. Okay, we want to put a little bit of grease on these little buttons there for the drag system. Then this has kind of a scalloped edge there that goes down, because that goes up against a little clicker that's right there, so you can hear the drag going out. It doesn't work very good anymore. Let me bend that up. It's right here. It's just gotten bent over. So we're going to bend that up so that we can hear it when the drag goes out. There we go. That's better. I want to get some line out of here so I can test the drag. Okay. Okay, so this goes on, and then this little drag wheel here goes on, and we can put a little bit of grease on it. Just put a little bit of grease around here, like so. Put that on. We want to make sure the drag is all the way adjusted all the way out. This on with, just slip this on. There we go. Put a little bit of oil on it. Okay, that's working well. Yeah, that drag is working nicely. Then we need to lubricate this inside here. We're going to put some oil on this hinge right there. Then we need to make sure that we grease up put a little bit of grease inside here. And we need to put a little bit of grease around here. Okay. And then this has a little D-shaped slot that goes on just like that. And then that goes on. Okay, let's put the handle on. Let's see if this will go on easier this time. Not really. Okay, that went on there better. I'll put on my little nut. Now, the line break does work just like that. And what it does is it pushes up on against the corners, but I think it could use a rubber thing, but it will work just like that. And the drag works nicely. Yeah, it doesn't take very much to tighten it up. And it's much smoother. It used to be pretty sticky. I'll get some new line put on this. That line has a bunch of oil in it. But that's the Omega 113. It's a neat little reel, great for little panfish, little trout fishing, you know, just a nice little micro reel. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel by pushing on the button right over there. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.